Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome in general if you're new, which chances are you probably are. We haven't been doing a lot on the channel recently, but we want that to change. So this is just a short video to say happy May the 4th. May the 4th be with you, and happy Revenge of the 5th, because we didn't actually get this video out on the 4th. It is currently the 5th. Circumstances being what they are, scheduling sometimes gets a little hectic. And I just wanted to make a quick video on how and why Star Wars is as important to me as it is, as a giant inspiration, obviously, for the channel, joined by Mr. Boba Fett over here, and why Star Wars is both probably my favorite franchise out there as far as IP goes, and also the franchise that gives me the most frustration at the same time. I'm sure that many other of you fans of the property might share the same feelings, but this franchise just gives so much inspiration to me and is such a foundational force, no pun intended, in filmmaking in general. It really literally changed film in a big way, not just for science fiction, but definitely for science fiction in particular. It revolutionized so many aspects of filmmaking and fantasy and science fiction and just mythology in the modern day in general, which is why it does hold such a special place in my heart and in the hearts of, I'm sure, many of you. So I just wanted to express my love of this franchise on this special week that, people dedicate to it because of the name, because of the pun. It's great, but also apropos. We just finished up Mandalorian Season 3, most of us, that just finished airing, and we are going to be putting out reactions to that series on this channel. I did film them. It just takes a long time to edit them. I haven't had that time, so you will see me in this garb very soon for some roving reactions. We're trying out a new thing coming up very soon, and later on today, hopefully after I put this video out, I also have a reaction that I made to the new Ahsoka trailer for that show that is coming up in August. I plan to also do reactions to that show and more of the shows going forward. Unfortunately, being a fan, I have watched like all of the shows and movies already, some many times, but what we also do plan to do on this channel is sort of a retro reaction review slash video. I'm going to be doing like a just geek out videos where it's sort of a reaction, but it's a re-reaction that I was going to do for each part of the Star Wars saga, and just kind of share my geek out over every cool part of Star Wars with you, even though I've already seen them. So they're not like fresh reactions, but I do want to add my voice to the space, and I want to share my love of the franchise. And we also have some projects coming up where I wanted to take all of that and share how I would rework the franchise if I got the chance to do that. I know a lot of people out there have already done that, but we also have a unique thing that I've been working on for many years, probably since back when around The Force Awakens came out, and I've never gotten to do that, and we're working on that as well. But really just also wanted to use this channel to celebrate my love of Star Wars and the people that I know, their love of Star Wars, and obviously based on, previous videos, talks of, just Marvel and DC and every other geek franchise out there. You can see the shelf behind me, Transformers, it's on the hat too. Gonna go over a lot of stuff with that, and just movies, comics, games, books, everything. But today being the 5th, yesterday being May the 4th, just wanted to talk about Star Wars for a minute. What I love about it, what I want to express in regards to it, and what's coming up for our channel that involves it. This franchise has been really important to me in particular, just because like I grew up with it. I am a child of the mid to late 90s, early 2000s. So, I grew up with the VHSs of Star Wars. I started growing up before there was a special edition of Star Wars. I got the chance to be that perfect young age when those re-releases came out and I saw them in theaters, and so I was absolutely fascinated by that. And my dad loved Star Wars. It gave me a special connection to him, and he imparted that to me. I shared that with him, and it helps remind me of him, and it just shaped my imagination from a young age to now. Every time I want to get my own imagination going, I usually start thinking of something Star Wars related, something that I would do with it, or something that I would have liked to see in Star Wars. And I, do a lot of what if content, and just the world that George Lucas created is so cool and so, again, imaginative, and just that it hits that perfect spot of the mix between fantasy, science fiction. You get the sword fights mixed with the spaceship dog fights and the mythology behind it that he built, so rich, so interesting, that it's like there are a lot of things about Star Wars that you can nitpick. Depending on who you are, we all nitpick different things, I think, about the franchise. We all have our own likes and dislikes about what the movies and shows have done. Uh, I'm certainly in my own certain camp about things in that area, but I think a lot of us can agree that, uh, especially back before the sequels came out, from the prequel era onward, people have been very nitpicky about, like, what they didn't like about what George Lucas did with the prequels, and nowadays the fan base is almost even more divided with like what Disney did with the sequels and what they're doing now with the shows, what they're doing with the upcoming movies, some of which I am very excited about, by the way. Some of the shows I've been loving. I am loving Mandalorian, if you can't tell. But of course, I have my own nitpicks about that as well. But my point there was that even though there's a lot of things about Star Wars that I wouldn't mind changing if I had the chance, even though George Lucas wasn't a very great actor's director, or like wasn't a very great writer of dialogue, it's widely agreed that the two best movies in the franchise were the ones he didn't direct. That withstanding, what George Lucas was amazing at was world building and general storytelling, like the mythology he came up with, the worlds he created, the imagery. He's a great visual storyteller. Not so great at the writing, but the world he created obviously has made a giant impact on not only cinema but pop culture in general. I think you would be hard pressed to find almost anyone on the planet who doesn't know this franchise in some form, even if they've never seen the movies. Everybody, knows something from this franchise. They might never have watched a single frame, but they'll know what a lightsaber is, or they'll know who Darth Vader is. Most people know the biggest plot twist of Star Wars, regardless of anything that they've seen of it, whether they've watched the movies at all. The whole Vader plot twist. The only reason I'm not saying it is because if there's some reason one of you out there hasn't watched the movies yet, I don't want to ruin it for you, but, I'm just going to say, go watch the movies. They're great. Well, a lot of them are great. Some are mixed. But my point is, the world is so creatively inspiring that as I know, many of you out there just keep coming back for more in this franchise. And That's why we're here celebrating it. That's why we do May the 4th, Revenge of the 5th. That's why it is the juggernaut that it is, media-wise. So, I just wanted to state out there why that would be my answer on that. There's that classic film school question that I always had problems answering when I was younger, is like, what is your favorite movie? I'm hard-pressed to pick one movie of the vast pantheon of movies that are out there that I would say that's my favorite. But inspirationally wise, I think franchise wise, I have to say Star Wars, even though there might be individual movies that I like more than any one individual Star Wars movie. I don't think that there's a franchise that has had more creative, inspirational influence on me as an artist, as a geek, as a person, pop culturally, than Star Wars. It changed special effects. It changed audio. It changed filmmaking in general. We would not have the blockbusters that we have today, or for the last almost 5 decades now, if Star Wars didn't hit the way it did. Lucas just created something very, very special. I think we can all agree on that, all of us who are Star Wars fans. No matter which aspect of the franchise you like, you may think that Empire Strikes Back is the only good movie in the franchise. You may think that Mandalorian is the best thing that's ever invented. You may think that all of the movies are crap and you just want versions of, the Legends books that are no longer canon. I love those too. I love aspects of it all. So that is actually what we're going to be doing later on the channel. We're going to work on it bit by bit, hopefully get it out sooner rather than later, although I've been saying that for several years now. We're going to be doing a series that builds up our own giant what-if version of the whole franchise. Movie by movie, and I'm going to pepper in, I'm going to try and use bits of the shows to kind of rework that narrative into something kind of a different version of it, but that's keeping a lot of the core concepts. I've seen a lot of people out there who do stuff like that, change it completely or change certain things that I wouldn't. So we're going to be working on our own version of that for you. If you're interested in that, stay tuned to the channel. The reaction things, we want to jump in on that game, even though we're very late. I did do some reviews of some of the episodes of Mandalorian Season 2 when that was coming out. Right when the finale of Mandalorian Season 2, right after that aired, and after I had already filmed my review of it, my computer at the time broke. And life being what it is, I wasn't able to fix my computer completely. I've been working off my phone pretty much entirely until just recently. So I'm working on my reconstructed version of that review now, but then also have already filmed like my new style of reactions to the 3rd season of Mandalorian, and I also did those for Kenobi as well. We're going to be trying to get those up on the channel when I can. Life is busy, life is hectic, but we're going to try and do that for you, and I'm going to try and get those up pretty soon. Stay tuned. We're going to try and be getting more content in general up on the channel now that things are kind of more or less normalizing again. So once again, happy May the 4th, belated, to all of you. Happy Revenge of the 5th. Happy, what do we call the 6th again? I wanted to say Revenge of the 6th. That sounds appropriate, but then what would the 5th be? I know there's stuff out there. Tell me how I'm wrong in the comments. But again, hope you join us on the channel in the future for more. And I hope all of you out there who love Star Wars and love all this geek stuff will eventually tune in to some of the videos coming up later on down the line for Cineforce. I never know how to end these things, so May the Force be with you, and we'll see you later.